Why is it important to use more than one mode of action in a brand or in a tank mix? Well, simply stated, it combines the strengths of multiple modes of action. If there's a weakness of one, a second or third might pick up that weakness and be a strength. Also, when we look at resistance to the fungicide chemistry class, it's always good to have overlapping multiple modes of action on the same particular pathogen in that crop. In fact, looking at our DELARO Complete, which is our newest brand in our brand ladder, we have trifloxystrobin, which is a strobilurin chemistry. We have prothioconazole, which is our triazole, very, very strong curative product. And then lastly, the newest addition into DELARO Complete is flupiram, which is our SDHI. All three of these have good residual activity and amount of residual that is loaded into them creates a longer period of time that we're getting effective modes of action on multiple diseases in the spectrum of both corn and soybeans. Just looking at our label, you'll see that we have the group codes of the group 3 triazoles, the group 11 strobilurins, and the group 7 SDHI, and you can see that our solo brands that we sell in some other horticultural and specialty crops, and you can see the diseases in both corn and soybeans that they all overlap on, whether it's a triazole, the strobilurin component, or the SDHI. Kind of looking at the consistency of the performance of a product like DELARO Complete, all three of our active ingredients have a disease spectrum that's very wide, so they control everything from fusariums to cercosporas. Fusariums would be involved in a lot of the crown rots and stalk rots. Cercosporas would be your leaf blights like gray leaf spot and frog eye leaf spot. And they also have activity on white mold in soybeans, and as you'll see later in my presentation, tar spot, which is the newest disease that we are combating in corn. All three of our chemistries have good preventative activity, not necessarily preventing the spores from getting in the plant, but preventing a lesion. We rely heavily on the triazole component and prothioconazole for that curative activity. Two of those are very systemic within the plant. The strobilurin is primarily locally systemic, just in the cuticle and movement throughout the leaf surface, and translaminar as it moves through the lipids down into the bottom side of the leaf. And then we get plant health effects or greening effects from both the strobilurin and the SDHI. And just looking at our brand ladder there, you can see Stratego Yield, DELARO, and DELARO Complete and their effectiveness in corn and soybeans. As we go up in active ingredient and we increase our number of modes of action, we get better activity on corn, soybean diseases, as well as standability and plant health. And this is kind of our brand ladder. I won't spend too much time on it, but an introductory into fungicides might be a product like Stratego Yield, which has 2 modes of action. DELARO, which has those same 2 modes of action, but a much higher rate of prothioconazole. So the best in segment as far as the triazole and curative activity. And then finally, DELARO Complete, that has all 3 modes of action and SDHI included in the triazole and the strobilurin compound or brand called DELARO.